Hey everyone, this is Coach Rayunmort here, and this week I'm going to do the pre-game thoughts for the week 4 of UK Masters. So first of all, we're going off a week where it was the qualifications for ESL Premiership, and there are 4 other teams that have now qualified, and 3 of the current UK Masters team have not qualified for the ESL Prem. So Phoenix did not try to qualify, but then on the other side we have Bulldog and what's their name, Radix, which did not qualify either for the ESL Premiership, and Barrage on the other hand have. So well done to them. I've heard quite a few rumors of teams kind of falling apart after the failed to qualify. Um, I I'm going to do as if it's the last week's one, even though I have some information. Officially, Bulldog have disbanded their League of Legends team. I'm not sure yet whether the players will or won't conserve the spot. That will really depend. So we shall see. So first game of the week is Radix versus Bulldogs. So this is actually the two teams which failed to qualify even though they tried. Um, I think both teams looked quite shaky in the past week and will probably look shaky as well this week against Excel. Radix had a pretty good early game, but didn't manage to group up when Excel fought, and we could see that their team fighting was rather off that game against Excel. Bulldog, they played against Eminem, and they were pretty much no show to the game. Obviously, Eminem are pretty talented, and Bulldog did have their moments, but overall, Eminem did kind of crush them. And so, I think this game is probably one of the lowest quality games that we're going to get if we do get it. Um, yeah. So my prediction for this game will be 1-1. I don't think either one really has a huge advantage over the other, and I believe that uh, sometimes they can pay well if they manage to snowball the early game, and I do think that their drafting overall is pretty equivalent. I'm thinking specifically about Radix, I believe. I remember watching their games, and I thought like one composition was really well drafted, and the other one uh, was very meh. Yeah, that was first game where they had Zach was a good draft, but they still didn't manage to make it. Bulldog, on the other hand, well, the drafting is also pretty iffy. So I just think that it's going to come down to the player's strengths. Second game of the week is Eminem versus Barrage Monday evening. Eminem always look good. They don't take too long in closing out games. They're a pretty solid team, though I do credit them on their individual play and not their play necessarily as a team, because we can see that when they're fighting, they don't necessarily go for the same targets. But what they do happen to do is that they have superior positioning, moving around, and they manage to win off individual skill. I do want to credit them for their drafts, which seem to be okay. Like they're not great, but they're always consistent. And yeah, Eminem did come off a strong week against Bulldog Esports. If they continue, they should be able to pretty much win a lot of games. Barrage shouldn't be one of their hardest opponents. Barrage, on the other hand, they did lose last week to Nerd Rage Pro. Once again, first game, they had a great draft, and I thought that based off the draft, I thought Barrage was going to win the game, but Nerd Rage did make a very chaotic game, which Barrage didn't seem to be able to work around, and Eminem seemed to have like a quite semi-chaotic playstyle as well. So Barrage did manage to adapt to that, and then the second game, their draft was probably the worst one I saw in the week. So yeah, apart from that, Barrage didn't really show much as a team, but they're coming off really strong of qualifying for the ESL Prem, so probably motivation is up. Maybe they'll will pick off a win, but I will do my prediction and say 2-0 for Eminem. Not gonna be crazy. Barrage might surprise us, but I don't see it happening. Eminem should win both games. So next up, we have Excel Gaming against Enclave Gaming. Excel Esports, sorry. So Excel Esports went 2-0 against Radix. They did show some really good team play. I talk about it in the other video. If you didn't watch it, I'll quickly say it here. I really like how they pick up the Herald buff and then use it very efficiently. They take it around the 12-minute mark, use it at around the 14-minute mark after doing after successfully ganking, getting a kill. They use the Herald and push with the Herald, and I think Excel do that as a team really well. Overall, Excel do know their limitations. They have strong individual players. Do say that every week. I mean, I did say that last week, but they did show that they haven't really changed much. That they're still a solid team and they're a contender for the first spot, in my opinion. They're going to face off against Enclave Gaming. Enclave Gaming went 1-1 against Phoenix. Phoenix is the only team that didn't stick together for the ESL Prem. So this is a huge upset for Enclave, and well done by Phoenix. So they lost the first game because Enclave played into their hand, where they decided to be very chaotic, where usually we see Enclave as being a team more than strong individuals. And obviously that first game did sting. They managed to pull off the victory in the second game. Wasn't very convincing. When they take a lead, Enclave don't know how to close out the game. And this is going to be a pretty big problem against Excel, which do not let any second chances. So my prediction will be 2-0 for Excel against Enclave. Obviously, Enclave are my boys. I do trust them to actually win both games, but going from a purely analytical point of view, Enclave did not look good these past couple of weeks, while Excel have. So my prediction is 2-0 for Excel. The last game of the week will be Nerd Rage Pro versus Phoenix. This game is going to be, in my opinion, one-sided for Nerd Rage. Phoenix don't look good as a team. They're very chaotic. They jump around all the time. They don't focus the targets together, and that was especially prevalent in week 2, where we could see Gragas body slam flashing in on 3 people, which was a great move. but he had no one behind him to give him support, which just basically means that the communication isn't there, that they don't really play together, and that they're just hoping on winning small skirmishes with like the help of the hand of God. Um, Nerd Rage. Wait, who did Nerd Rage play against last week? They played against. Yeah, they played against Barrage Esports. They had a good week. I do feel like the second game was a bit more complicated for Nerd Rage Pro, as they were not respecting Barrage's early game. The first game they managed to win with what, in my opinion, was a weaker draft, and they won pretty convincingly by being over aggressive. I don't think Phoenix will be able to handle it. Nerd Rage have Nutri as a jungler, which knows how to put the pressure everyone on the map. His Nizzly was really convincing, in my opinion, in the first game against Barrage. So I don't see Phoenix winning the skirmishes purely because Nerd Rage seem to communicate better during these skirmishes. And yeah, so for me, no surprise, prediction is 2-0 for Nerd Rage Pro. I don't really see Phoenix taking many games, depending on how far Bulldog or Radix are gonna fall off. I I can't see them winning any more games. Obviously, they did beat Enclave last week, so there can be some surprises. But when you face off Nerd Rage Pro, they're a top 3 contender. I put them currently like at a solid third place. I don't think Nerd Rage should have too much difficulty against. To finish off, I just like to ask what you guys think, obviously, of the video again. Give me some tips, some feedback, how I should speak better. Should I put more intonation? Should I use a little less? Should I be more prepared? Give me some feedback. And then second thing I want to say is I'm looking forward to this week. This is going to mark the middle of the UK Premiership, and the standings are going to be pretty close to what they're going to look like at the end. Top 4 do make it to playoffs. My predictions for the top 4 for the moment is M&M, XL Esports, Enclave Gaming, and Nerd Rage Pro. But Enclave have lost, have drew the first 3 weeks where they shouldn't draw against certain teams to get to the top 4 in a convincing fashion. So thanks for watching.